Hi, welcome. Today we're looking at King David and the fulfillment. So, as a man going out to build his house, he made the design of the house, then he built the house according to the design. When the house is completed, it becomes the fulfillment of that design. So if we are stepping back and back and back and we look at the Bible, so we would have King David, a great king in the Old Testament. The reason being is because God intentionally raised up a great king because he already had in mind to have the fulfillment king. So King David in the Old Testament here, as a design king, he was really great. He triumphed many battles and he kept the people of God safe physically. So he was a great king. That is our desire. The fulfillment is Jesus Christ. He is eternal King, very great King, perfect King, King forever, King eternally. And Jesus himself triumphed over all the battles to keep the people of God spiritually safe. And that is the fulfillment of King. So first, Jesus himself won over the biggest battle, that is battle over sin. Because Jesus died on the cross and he obtained the forgiveness of sins for all of us, for all generation, all people, all nation, until the end of time. Because creation was created through Jesus, for Jesus, and in Jesus. So even though Jesus died once on the cross, the forgiveness of sin is for all people and all generation. And so to keep the people of God spiritually safe, meaning that the people of God are imperfect and we are imperfect, and that's why we need what Jesus has done for us on the cross, to be forgiven of our sins. And so Jesus had done that for us, and we are spiritually saved, because just like King David kept the people of God physically safe, Jesus himself keep us spiritually safe. And Jesus had done, many things for us, providing things for us throughout all generation. He had watched over the people of God, and in heaven he is a great king, perfect king, strong king, loving king, compassionate king, a king who care for the people spiritually, because Jesus wants us to go to heaven. Jesus wants us to be spiritually safe while we are on earth here. And the greatest thing is that he obtained the forgiveness of sins for us. And also he provides for us things that's helping us, like the laying on of hand to strengthen us. That's just one of the example. But Jesus as a king always watch out for his people, because that's why he said in the book of John that when I'm lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men to myself. Because Jesus knows he is a great king and powerfully watching, saving his people. And so today, that is the fulfillment. Jesus is eternal king, fulfillment king, great king, loving king, good king, strong, powerful king. Now, to talk about David, I can't help but talk a little bit more, because I really liked two aspects about him, especially, his battle with Goliath. And we all know that he was a young guy at that time, and everyone was scared of Goliath, and yet David won over by using a smooth stone and a sling. And it's a so great a story. I love it so much because it's like God was with David, and David just used what God given him, the very thing that he has. He was a shepherd, so he tend the sheep, so he know how to defend his sheep. And the very thing that he do every day, the sling and the smooth stone, and that the very thing that he used to win over a great big problem. Then everyone was scared of Goliath. And I just felt like God was with David, and God gives David the very thing that he need to triumph over the big battle. And in our lives, God is like that too. When we trust in God, like David trusting in God, God gives us the solution for our big problem, very biggest problem we have. Whatever problem we have, even in our physical life, in our spiritual life, big problems, God will use the very thing that we know how to do, we know we can do, the very thing to triumph over the problem. I myself was going through some physical challenges, and I felt like God gave me that as well. God told David to choose those stones, to use the sling to kill the Goliath. And I felt like God gave me a solution like that when I was going through my big problem with my physical life. Gave me the very things that we know how to do, we know what to do, And so in our spiritual life, we can also rely on God, just like David relying on God like that. Just simply trusting in God, and the wisdom of God will come through, will show us what we must do to win over our big problem. And also talking about David, I also like to say that how he was anointed. All his brother was rejected, yet he was chosen. Because the way of God is he look at our inside. He chose us for our inside, what we like inside. And so it doesn't, God does not choose us according to our physical appearance, nor our how much we earn in life, what job title we hold. None of that at all. God look at our inside, because God wants to know how we are relating to him, how much love we show to God and to others, how much compassion we show to others for God's sake. So God look at our inside, and that that story about David being anointed really touched me, and I really like that. Because in my life, I am also not a great person. I don't earn good money, and I don't hold great job title, and so it's sort of comforting me to know the fact that God doesn't look at those aspects, and also comforting to me to know that if we are trusting in God like David, he will triumph for us our battle, just like David won many battles, and the first one was with Goliath. And I really like this story about Goliath. It's such a great thing, but it can happen to us as well, and God will give us the solution, the answer, in simplicity, because God will use his wisdom to show us, to guide us. So thank you for joining me today. That is all about King David.